be using blocks for portions of this, so make sure that you do have both blocks nearby. We're going to begin without them, but I do want you to have them within reach. So in your table pose, make sure that your hands are pressing into the ground. All 5 fingers, all knuckles, your entire palm, as if they were physically connected to your mat and by extension the ground beneath you. When we're in table pose, I want you to pay attention to the sensation between your shoulder blades. Sometimes we have a tendency to collapse in our upper back, drawing our shoulder blades closer together. So if you can, press your hands into your mat in an effort to bring your shoulder blades wide on your back, as if they were wrapping around the outer edge of either side of your rib cage. Keeping your back broad. As you inhale, your belly button will pull down towards your mat and your heart will come forward into cow pose. Exhale, beginning at your hips. Tuck your hips, round your back, and drop your head and chin down gently into cat pose. Inhale, flow into cow pose. Exhale into cat pose. Move between these 2 poses, following the rhythm of your breath, and notice the sensation of keeping the space between your shoulder blades broad. Allowing space to be held in your back body, in the back of your heart. And that even though this requires work that we may not associate with softness, that in doing this, we allow the space in and around our heart to remain soft. Do this for several more breath cycles. And then on your next exhale, instead of going into cat pose, sink your hips back towards your heels and come into a child's pose. In child's pose, you can make any modification that your inner body wisdom is calling for, whether that's bringing your toes together and your knees wide to create space for your belly, for your upper body and your heart to sink towards the mat. You might also bring a block or your hands under your forehead to create some support. Or you may even bring your arms down at your sides, reaching towards your feet. Feel the points at which your body is connected with the earth. And take this moment to allow your awareness to rest in your heart. What is the quality of the softness residing there? Both physically and emotionally, where might you be able to soften a little more? Bring your hands back to the mat underneath your shoulders. Inhale, return to your table pose, and this time reach for both of your blocks. Bring one block under each hand. Pressing your hands into your blocks in the same manner that you did before without them, we're going to reverse our breathing for cat-cow. So as you inhale, this time, round your back up into a cat pose. Before you transition to cow pose, Exhale your hips halfway back to child's pose, keeping your arms straight, noticing the sensation in and around the back of your heart. Inhale forward to cat pose, keeping your back rounded that whole time. And then exhale, draw your heart forward into cow pose. Inhale, round your back to cat pose. Keeping your back rounded, exhale halfway back to child's pose, noticing the sensation in and around your heart. Inhale forward to cat pose. And exhale into cow pose. Do this one more time. Inhaling, cat pose. Exhaling, halfway to child's. Inhaling, cat pose. Exhaling, cow pose. Good. Return to table pose. Lengthen your spine and bring the block under your right hand up onto the medium setting. So you have the block under your left hand on the low setting, the block under your right hand on the higher or the medium setting. We're going to be doing the same rhythm that we just were, and this time I really want you to notice what happens in and around your heart, both in the front and back body, with this uneven placement of your hands. Keep your arms lengthened and extended as you move through these poses. So on your inhale, round your back into cat pose. Exhale, halfway back to child's. Inhale, return to cat pose. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, halfway to child's. Inhale, return to cat pose. And exhale into cow pose. Do that one more time through. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, halfway to child's. Inhale, return to cat. And exhale, bring your heart forward into cow pose. Return to a neutral spine in your table pose. Your right hand that has the medium setting block is going to step forward just slightly, and your left knee is going to come towards your left wrist. So you're in a cross crawl pattern. Your left hand and knee are closer together, and your right hand and knee are further apart. And once more, inhale, enter cat pose, noticing the sensation in and around your heart. Exhale, back towards child's pose, keeping both arms extended and trying to keep both hips centered. Inhale, forward to cat pose. Exhale, belly down, heart forward into cow pose. Inhale, cat. Follow your breath's rhythm through this flow twice more, noticing where is feeling this sensation in and around your heart. How is this asking you to soften in new ways? After you finish the second time through, go ahead and center your knees and hands again. Sink all the way back into child's pose to give your wrists a break. I like to use my blocks to dangle my hands over the far end of here, allowing my heart a little more space to soften toward the ground. Using this opportunity to bring movement into my hands, into my wrists. Find your most nourishing experience in child's pose. It might look different than mine. It might even look or feel different than the last time you were on your mat. And part of allowing ourselves to soften is giving ourselves permission to explore what each pose and what each moment in our practice has to offer us. Take 2 more deep, nourishing breaths here. And on your second exhale, return up to table pose once more. This time, bring your left block onto the medium setting. Your right block will stay on the low setting. For right now, your hands and knees are all centered and aligned. Inhale, round your back into cat pose. Exhale, halfway back to child's pose. Inhale, forward to cat pose once more. Noticing the sensation in and around your heart. Exhale into cow pose. Follow the cadence of your breath. Inhaling into cat pose. Allow your body to guide you through this flow. As you flow through this sequence, continue to notice how this allows your heart to soften. Do one more time through. After you return to cow pose, adopt a neutral spine. This time, your left hand is going to step forward, and your right knee will step towards your right wrist. So your right hand and knee are closer together, and your left hand and knee are further apart. Once more through this sequence, inhale, round your back into cat pose. Noticing the experience around your heart. Exhale towards child's pose. Keeping both arms extended. Inhale, return to cat pose. And exhale your heart forward into cow pose. Allow your breath to guide your pace through this 3 more times. Really allow your attention to rest in the spaces that are being invited to open and soften a little more in this flow. any judgment about the differences between the right and left sides of your body to float away, knowing that there is no right or wrong, that it is your job to simply notice, to invite the softening. After your third time through this sequence, return both hands and knees back to center and find your child's pose as you are ready to. As you are here in child's pose, notice the ways in which you might invite softness into and around your heart, and what doing so might represent. What that softness might allow you to cultivate or invite more of into your life or your practice. And also what it might allow you to release. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And after your second breath, gently come up into a seated position.